In this video, I'm going to show you how you can develop and bring forth a magnetic personality. And you might be thinking to yourself, isn't a personality like just something you're born with? Partially so, but in this video, I'm going to show you how you can actually craft and develop your personality in a way that you can add more value to any situation. Now, if you and I have not met yet, my name is Troy. I want to help you just improve your life with some of these tools and tips. Now, let's look at personality, right? Like, yes, part of it is you are born with this personality. You can often see people that are just kind of a certain way. However, you can add to this and develop it in a really magnetic form that allows people to kind of gravitate towards you. And that's what you're looking to do with your personality. You're looking to create it in a way that people are drawn in towards you and want to be a part of what you are doing. And so the way you do that is you add value through certain other elements. Like, as an example, what that means is, like, in a social situation, what you've been led to believe is the way you bring value to a situation oftentimes is through your appearance, maybe through how much money you have, the kinds of social connections you have. So you're thinking, in the way of thinking is that those are forms of a currency. And yes, in a way they are, but there's also other forms of currencies. So when you think of a personality, think of it as what personality or what currency can I bring forth? And so there's other currencies, and one currency might be humor. And so I actually remember like growing up myself and changing schools from this very small school to a much bigger school. And I was like, met some people I kind of enjoyed, wanted to hang out with a little bit more. And I found myself almost unconsciously. I was watching MTV, I remember, and I'd watch these different shows, and I would just kind of like watch the way they interact, the way they kind of laugh with each other, make fun of each other. And I was like, man, that looks really cool. And so I found myself, again, almost unconsciously, as I would interact with my friends, kind of using some of this like humor and making fun of myself, making fun of them, and it just added energy to the environment. And so that's a form of developing your personality in a way that adds value. So oftentimes what's taking place in social situations, and the reason you feel shut down, kind of stifled, is because you're getting in your own way, you're getting in your head. What's actually taking place is you're more concerned about how you're being perceived than actually adding value to the situation. It's okay, it's very normal, right? You're kind of looking out for yourself in a way. However, when you can take the focus off of you, it allows you to open up and be more natural and then add value to the environment. Just look no further than there's probably certain environments, certain situations, certain friends you hang out with, and you almost feel like very loose, very naturally just charismatic. You're laughing about certain things. But what if you could bring more of that just in your day-to-day environment? And again, what you're fighting against is a lot of social conditioning. Like, oh, you should behave that way. You should act right, this certain way in this environment. And so, yes, there is some of that to navigate. However, most of that, the way I explain this, it's like a hose, like imagine a hose, right? And the hose gets kinks, and the hose has all these kinks in it, and there's no flow. And so what you're trying to do actually with your personality and with your charisma essentially is remove these kinks in the hose and just allow yourself to express. And so it's not an actual like addition problem. So you're not adding to who you are, you're actually subtracting from what might be in the way. And again, the way you do this is you think of ways that you could add value to the situation by understanding there's multiple forms of currency in any social environment, not just the ones you've been led to believe through money, through looks, through whatever, right? You're actually adding value in other ways. So one of the ways you can do this through an actual like practical step is you go into a social environment. Imagine everybody is like a lock, right? One of these like locks, okay? Everyone's a lock. You just kind of visualize this, you go into the group, everybody's locked up, and oftentimes they are. And so you, my friend, are the key. You are a key, they are the locks. And the way you unlock everyone, that's your goal as you go to this environment, is just to make a connection with them. So you might go up, you introduce yourself, maybe you compliment them about something, maybe you make a little joke, maybe you make fun of yourself. Self-deprecation is totally cool. It shows self-deprecation shows us in a certain social environment that you don't take yourself too seriously. And again, there's all these like subtle cues that are taking place in any social situation that actually speak like volumes. And so by me making fun of myself and showing that, I don't take myself too seriously, it shows that I'm like loose in life, that I can have a good time, that things must be going well. There's all these like primitive like dialogues actually taking place. If I can make fun of the environment, again, I'm loose, my mind is loose. And so that's what you're actually looking to do, is to loosen your mind up. So what you might notice is when you first go introduce yourself to someone, you approach, you make a little joke here, you might feel kind of stiff, you might feel a little bit rigid. And so the way to kind of approach this is you fill into your own energy, and you might kind of give yourself, like, maybe it sounds weird, but like a rating of where you're at mentally, like emotionally, where you feel. So maybe you walk in, you're like, damn, I feel like a 3. I'm not very loose right now. So don't go from trying to be a 3 to a 10, because then you just feel fake. There's no congruence to you. Congruence is another form, by the way, of showing value in social situations. People can tell when you're like congruent, when you're being authentic, right? And that's a form of value. And so if you can be congruent with people, people will appreciate that. And so you don't go from being a 3, feeling like your energy's at a 3, because that's normal. It's okay. And trying to fake and pretend like you're at a 10. You baby step your way there. So you go, all right, I'm a 3. And you go there. You might even say, I'm a little in my head right now. I'm just kind of getting things going, just kind of loosening up. Never been here before, don't really know anyone. That's you being congruent. And then pretty soon you're at a 3.5, maybe a 4. You go to the next group, the next person, you kind of talk to them a little bit, you introduce yourself. Pretty soon you're loosening up. Next, you know, you're naturally putting yourself into this momentum. And then you're a 7, 8, 9, 10, because it's already in you. That's the thing I want you to understand about your personality is, again, it's a subtraction game. You're removing things that are in the way. And so when you go into social environments or you go to meet somebody new, it's all these conditions that come into your head and put you in your own box, and you're boxed out, and then you can't connect with anyone. So go back to this exercise and imagine that you're the key, because what this is also doing is it's putting you in a situation of adding to the environment versus taking from the environment. And so if you think of yourself as the key and you have to go unlock everyone, it's naturally creating momentum. And so you just kind of are adding value, add value, add value. And guess what? Here's the unique thing about energy. As I add energy, as I put it out, what happens? Energy flows and it comes back. And so then naturally people start to come back to you. So another thing you might do, I do this when I go out. I'll tell you a little like what I do, right? I'll go out, went out this weekend. I don't drink. Why don't I drink? It's because I want to make actual first person references of every experience I have in a social situation. And so what that means is if I drink alcohol, it's like a natural, it's like a mechanism I can use to be loose. Okay, fair, but I'm not gaining the actual reference points to learn from this situation. And also, with alcohol, there's always going to be like a big backswing. Yes, you get something up front, but the back end of what you lose is actually much greater. So I encourage you to avoid that and actually develop these firsthand reference experiences. So, okay, I go out with some friends. I can kind of almost brainwash myself so much in these environments to start to let go, do exactly what we're talking about, having fun. Next thing you know, I'm high-fiving people, I'm laughing, I'm dancing with the boys, that I have to remind myself that I haven't drank anything. And so I'm like, I'm not drunk. And so I remind myself, like, man, you're sober, because I start to get almost in this like state where it feels like I've been drinking, like I'm part of the group. But that's me adding value into the group because I come almost enmeshed with it, right? And so what I want you to think about when you go into these situations is, again, asking the question, not only what does the person need, but what does the environment need? And so if I go into a dance club, imagine this, and I walk up and there's 2 people kind of dancing to the side, they're moving a little bit, and I go up and I'm just not moving, and I introduce myself to them. I'm very stiff. Hey, how are you? Maybe you even make a compliment. I'm adding value, but I'm not matching what the environment needs. And what the environment needs in that moment is I missed something. They're both dancing, right? And so by me not dancing and then trying to talk to them, they have to stop what they're doing and then talk to me. So it's actually taking energy. You see the subtlety of that? As you really key into these things, it helps you understand social environments and your personality. And so by unlocking the environment, adding to it, what I would do is I'd come up. I don't need to be like, dancing like a goofball, but I might just be moving a little bit, introduce myself, boom, make a compliment, say something about the environment, maybe laugh about the situation, whatever it is. Like I remember this last weekend seeing somebody who had sandals on. I'm like, how the hell did you get in here with sandals? Like, you're not supposed to have sandals in here. And how are you dancing with sandals on? But then this adds energy to the environment, right? And now we're connected versus me taking something from the situation. So again, personality comes a lot back to you adding to the situation, adding value to the environment, and getting out of your own way. Again, you're getting stuck in your own head because you're actually looking to take from the situation. Like, you can also think of this frame as, imagine you saw somebody who is, quote, famous. Whoever, think of somebody, maybe it's The Rock, right? Now, The Rock meets and sees so many people, he has what's called banner blindness. It's a term in marketing. Like you had like when I drive down the freeway, I counted it one time. It was something ridiculous. Like the amount of banners, right, actual advertisements I see on the freeway from like one end of the town to the other end of town was something like 37 banners. Do you think I see those? Of course not. At this point, I'm like blind to it. That's banner blindness. So how do you stand out in situations? So The Rock in this environment would have the same thing. So many people just come up to him, let me take a picture with you. Oh my God, it's The Rock. So how do you actually connect with someone like that? You actually have to add value to the environment. You can't pedestalize them. You have to make them, you have to be congruent and maybe make them laugh. You connect with them in a certain way. That's a currency, right? Another form of currency is maybe I introduce The Rock to somebody, my friends. And so oftentimes what you're doing is you're not making connections for other people to kind of resonate with. That's, again, you taking from the environment. So if I go out, one of the things I'm doing is I might introduce myself to two people, but the first thing I do is then introduce those two people to someone I'm hanging out with or the people that I'm hanging out with. It gets me out of my own way and puts value onto them and the group. And again, when you add value, when you add energy, what does energy do? It flows, it cycles back. And so now I'm the person that connected them. Maybe they enjoy people, so they're going to connect me to somebody else. So I want you to think of personality as more like an energy. It's flowing, it's moving, it needs currency. Just like money. Money's called currency, right? Which means it has a current to it. It needs to flow. So personality is the same. You're stuck, you're stifled because you're in your own way and you're making it about you. You're hiding in the corner. You don't want to connect with people because you're stuck in your own head. It's about you. Am I looking all right? Do I smell okay? Right? Add value to the situation. Get out of your own way. Be the key, and everyone else is locked, and you're the one who's going to go unlock them. That's you adding energy and value to the environment, and it'll naturally come back to you. So that, my friend, is just some insights on how you can develop your personality. And remember, there's multiple forms of currency. So I want you to think of what are the other currencies I can develop. This is good practice for you, by the way, just in life, right? It gets you out of the frame of like money is the only currency or good looks are the only currency. Bullshit. Like you have to think laterally. There's multiple forms of currency. One of the things you can do actually is, this is kind of different, but it's powerful, is to study marketing. I really encourage you to study marketing, because what marketing does, if you really get into it, is it teaches you to understand other people. You're going to start, when you think about marketing, you'll still be stuck in your own frame, and you might not even pick this up for a while. What that means is, like, let's say I have which I do, right? I have a book coming out, and I tell you, you should buy my book because I'm cool. Buy my book. I want it to be a bestseller. Like, that's how a lot of marketing will be presented. That's about me. Why the hell would you buy that book? So what you really have to do is craft the message of, I want you to buy it, and here's why you should buy it. Here's all the value you're going to get out of it. And that's the only frame you can come from. And so if you understand marketing at that degree, it's about you. How do I get you to move from an emotional place? That's the key, is to connect to emotions. Then you're going to get that. You're going to get actual movement. It's the same thing with your personality. Same thing with social situations. Is you think it's about you, and so you're the dancing metaphorical monkey, and ain't nobody into it. Maybe they are for a minute, but you're going to exhaust yourself, and they're going to be they'll move you along. And so you have to actually add value to the situation. So study marketing. It's a strange kind of, like, I always call it the side door to get in. Like, study marketing. It's about other people. How do you connect with their emotions, with their energies? Like, I'll see if I can think some of my favorite like marketing things. Some of my favorite, if you hear me talk about marketing, I'll always use the word you. I try to avoid any I's. In fact, I'm working on a project right now, and I'm literally challenging myself to write nothing that has an I or a me. So can I write an entire, like, I think I'm at like literally like 10,000 words, writing a message around 10,000 words that is all you focused, right? Because as you read it, you're going to fall into it. Like, literally, it's going to kind of take you along this journey. But when I start to say I too much, it pulls you into my frame and it takes you out of yours. And the reality is, and this is deep, but it's very true, is you are selfish. I'm selfish. He's selfish. She's selfish. And like, the reality is, if you go from like how often, you could ask yourself, how often do you think about yourself in the day? How often are your thoughts about you versus someone else? I would guess if you're around like 95% of it being focused on you, you're around where like Mother Teresa is. That's the reality. That kind of, like, you could feel that emotionally. I remember someone showed me that once, and I was like, damn, like, nah, I think it's like 50-50. Nah, it ain't. Like, fill into that a little bit. But it will put you in the frame of others. Like, going back to the social environment and marketing, do this exercise. You could do this even in relationships. This is really powerful. Put your mind into your customer right? Or the person you want to connect with, or your partner if you're in a relationship. Put your mind in as if it's their mind for an entire 24 hours. Eat the way they eat, think the way they think, behave the way they behave. Think about what they're worried about, their concerns about, what they have stress about, what their anxieties around, all of those things. And it'll slowly get you out of your own mental frame and put it in theirs. And again, if you think about this in terms of marketing, like I'll do this, I'll build an avatar. I'm like, this person is my avatar. Like I literally have this written down, like an actual person. Like this is the avatar. These are the things they struggle with. These are things they worry about. How do I get this person to move emotionally, right? They're just stuck. They're frozen in time. How to get them to move. And so it's the same thing if you're going out and you're thinking about your personality. Like who are you interacting with? What are their concerns? What are they worried about? How do you connect with that person? It'll take you out of your frame and put it into theirs. It'll really like help you with your communication skills, help you with those connection points, help you in business, it'll help you in relationships. Like what is your spouse? What is your partner? What is your friend? What are their concerns? What do they think about? What do they struggle with? And then add value to that, and you always create win-win situations. That's what you're looking to do in life. That's what you're looking to do in social situations. That's what you're looking to do in business. I hope you found this helpful. Go create some win-win situations and watch how it changes your life. Love you so much. Till next time. Peace.